sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want you to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go.
Okay, guys, here we go. And Kent's joining me on this live. And happy Sunday to you guys all. It's my last day. Normally I work Sundays, but it's my last day off before I have to go to work again tomorrow. It sucks, but whatever. It is what it is. Well, I do like my job, but it still sucks. But anyways, hey, Kent.
Hello.
Hello. So you guys, again, if you guys haven't hit that like and the share, please do so for the sake of Jack and Lily, always the murdered and the missing. And thank you guys for being here. Hope everyone's having a good Sunday out there. And I slept in because I wanted to. Well, I was up late too, but but I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sleep in. I'm gonna enjoy this moment. Hi, Maxie, how are you? Rob's in the house. Hey, Rob. We're going to be talking about the parade at the start here, guys. Don't forget, there's going to be a members live after this. If you're not a member, you can hit the link in the description to join. It's $1.99. Unless you have, I'll be doing 5 memberships today as well at some point during the live here. And other than that, yeah. So this live is not going to be too long. Just because, again, I'm going to do a membership live after this one, or right soon after this one. And then, yeah, and then after that, I'm probably going to finish up my laundry. I did a lot yesterday. I mean, that stack never ended. I swear to God. I hate cleaning. I hate doing housework. It's not my thing. Anyways, so, oh, sorry, Matt. Oh, sorry. Hi, Misty. Hi. This one always is a tongue twister on me. Belinda believes. I always want to say, I don't know why, Belinda Believables or something like that every time I see it. I'm going to miss this live this week. Sunny, buy lottery tickets. If you win, we can have you all to our... Well, not everybody would say that. We won't have a chance to share with you your day job. Maybe one day. Anyways, again, this isn't exactly our full-time job here. I have a full-time job, and yeah, again, it starts tomorrow. Can't. I'm going to whine.
Yeah.
My husband goes back to work tomorrow too.
Did you sleep in today, or did you just go to bed late? Because I think you just went to bed late.
I went to bed late. Yeah.
Yeah. 7 o'clock this morning.
I think 5, to be honest with you. I think
yeah.
No, 8.
Well, that's 9.
8.
Well, that's
8.
Yeah. You went to bed at 8 o'clock this morning?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's 12.
I slept for 4 hours. And then whatever time I got up there, can't remember now. And then, I actually don't remind me of that because then I'll think I'm tired. Hi, Lobster. How are you? Hi, guys. Anyways, thank you guys all for being here today again. Jack and Lily, as you guys roll on in, please hit that like and the share button. I didn't do a poll. Didn't even cross my mind, to be honest with you. But please hit the like for Jack and Lily. Hi, Root Strength. How are you? Okay. Hi, 007. Let's see here. Kimberly's in the house. Hey, Deline, how are you? Do a few more shout outs and then we'll get on with it. Dawn is in the house. Hi, Mick. Kent's in the house. Actually, Kent, go ahead. Little Miss Muffin Top. Go ahead, Kent. This picture before you obviously is today's parade. And again, awareness for Jack and Lily. This is a big sign that costs like $220, correct?
Yep. 4x4.
4x4. The other
Double
ones that are,
sided.
I was going to say, I know, but Kent, I'm confused because for a while there, I swear we were talking about $20 signs and $40 signs. Is
No.
there? Or okay, so there's just $20
No.
signs and
Yeah.
200. Okay,
We were hoping to sell the little ones for $10, and that would have been a $10 like donation to the group for the other awareness materials. But then when we got the actual quote back, taxes in, it came back to $17.50. So
yeah,
we had to go to 20.
Yeah. So tell us about the parade today, if you could.
Yeah. So today was a beautiful day in Pictou County, 21 degrees or so, and nice and sunny. And it's the East Pictou Rural Fair. And for anybody who's not from Pictou County, if you ever want to travel to Pictou County, come after July 1st. And the reason why I say that is because there's 5 towns and the rural municipality that make up Pictou County. And every weekend, and I'm not exaggerating, every weekend from July 1st to the weekend after Labor Day, there's a different festival that happens in Pictou County. Every weekend. And there's a couple weekends that are doubled up. So if you're looking for a place to come in the summertime and visit, and you like festivals and whatnot, we have you covered. So anyways, today we're down there. It's on the eastern side of the county, the opposite side of where I'm from. And it's just a little community parade, but it took us an hour to go through. So for the small community, I figured it was a pretty good sized parade. We were almost at the back of it, but not at the very back. Lots of appreciation for people saying good work, keep their names out there. As I said in the chat groups, there was probably 10 or 15 people along the route that took your fingers and bent your fingers and put your thumbs together upside down to make a heart, which I thought was pretty cool. But I couldn't get a picture of one of them because I had Russia's, and I keep saying her name wrong, but
Russia.
The one that Russia
McDonald.
Yeah. Yes. I had her 2 songs playing Bluetooth in the truck, blasted as loud as we could hear. So you could definitely see as we were going by, it was making a few people bring tears to their eyes as well. So that was cute. Yeah, so pretty good day. And then there's a second picture that Sonny's got there. And it was posted in the chat group when we get home. And the person said, I couldn't go outside and watch the parade because I had a sleeping baby that I had to watch. So I had to watch the parade out my living room window. So if you wonder why somebody posted a picture inside of a house watching the parade, that's the reason why.
Well, that's so sweet because I seen that one and I was just like, oh, obviously somebody's watching the parade from inside when you sent it.
Yeah.
And if anyone does have a little bit of video from this parade today, feel free to send it to me at the crimingshame@gmail.com because there's got to be somebody that has a little bit of video for that. Right, Kent?
Yeah, there's plenty of phones out there these days, and like I say, there was certain people that came up to me that I might not know personally, but I would have seen them along the parade route that they had their phones out, so they were either taking video or at least pictures.
Mhm.
Either or. Send them to Sonny or myself, and we'll just add them to the collage. And we're going to be able to make some nice wallpaper out of these photos. Did Sonny go to the bathroom?
No, I muted myself because
You muted
yeah,
yourself.
yeah. So, I was saying, so for anyone, you have till the end of August, of course, to send in your rocks, send in any paintings, anything special that you want in the video for Jack and Lily. It's totally up to you. Nobody's twisting your arms or anything like that. But if you want to, you can send it to @crimingshame@gmail. Sorry, I got my window is right here, guys. So if I look like a ghost, well, too bad. I ain't closing my blinds because it's kind of like my little relaxation to look at the trees. But anyways, send it in by the end of August for any of those special things that you're doing to @crimingshame@gmail.com. Yeah, I was muted for a sec there. I do that at least once alive, typically. Don't I, Kent?
I thought maybe Sonny was Charmaine was putting you inside out.
She must be driving back home, I believe, because she said she was leaving Sunday to go back home. And of course, Charmaine, again, for all you guys that don't know, of course, her daughter had her fourth child. She has a couple daughters, but her one daughter had a fourth child, and little Connor, 7 pounds 2 ounces on there. So precious. And my son sent me some really cute photos today of my own granddaughter, Thalia, on there. So all I can say is that, again, as we keep talking about, anyone that has children wants to understand what's going on with Jack and Lily. Kent, just to ask you, okay, somebody earlier, so I know the fog, Susan from Hidden in the Fog. I mean, to keep entertaining Daniel's, Daniel, he keeps saying that he's not going to speak out. He's setting up, blah, blah, blah. Just gets twisted and turned. Well, there he goes again. So he's looking for an outlet, right? Obviously, now he's gone to Susan from Hidden in the Fog. I mean, I know that she would love to have him up on the panel. She was asking for that before. Ain't going to happen, Susan. Just saying. And you know what? If Daniel does, I mean, anyways, it gets really old entertaining his honestly boring messages now. They just kind of say the same thing. But the person mentioned about a diaper. See, I haven't even seen I've seen those two ones from the other day. I mean, I'm sorry, but I have to say this. You're a reporter in a sense, and you're putting freaking shit into AI to tell you about it. I don't know. I kind of found that a little bit laughable. I mean, don't get me wrong. AI is good, but I did find that. I don't know. What did you think about that? I just kind of thought, well, you're a reporter and you're putting that stuff into AI. Like, it just kind of seems ironic, really.
Well, yeah, I thought that was weird, because most of the time you would get creators wanting to give their interpretation of what he said, right? Where she sort of said, okay, I'm going to punch this in the AI. I don't know if she was doing it as a joke to see what AI would come back with and say, and have AI say, oh, well, he's guilty, therefore she didn't have to say it. I don't know what the
no.
why the interpretation, because I didn't watch it all, but I guess I've heard other people said that she went back at the end of it
Oh my
and
God.
gave her own interpretation. But
Yeah, well, it was based off what AI was saying, really, for the most part. A little bit, but honestly, okay, if there's nothing more pukable than this, okay, I mean, I'm sorry, and this isn't to down Susan, but she has a voice like Janie, okay? There is nothing soft and sensitive about her voice. And when I was listening to that video the other day, I'm sorry, I wanted to hurl so badly because I know when people are using AI and when they start talking like this, you know, and the flowers were wilted on that May 2nd day, and da 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 da. AI always talks like that, okay? So to listen to that, like her using AI to speak at the start and everything besides AI, I'm sorry. It just makes me personally want to vomit when I'm listening to people use AI. And it it's just AI always says certain things, mind you, but when you have a harsh voice and then all of a sudden you're toning it down into this, on May 2nd, it was a luscious day. The wind was blowing at 35 degrees knots. Everyone in the street was out playing except for Jack and Lily. And it's just, it just, when I hear it because it's so AI generated. How about you just use your own darn voice, to speak instead of me? It just to me is it's like telling
It's a turnoff. Like,
it's a turn off. It's a turn off.
yeah, like I most of the time, or 99% of the time, if I click on a video and I don't know the creator, and if I don't know that it's already AI, and as soon as I listen to it and it's AI,
Yes.
I'll listen to it. I'll listen to it for a few minutes, and I'll see if they're giving out somewhat accurate information as far as names go and whatnot, and then I'll give them a pass. If they are using incorrect names, dates, and times,
Yeah.
I press the report button, and then I go out.
Ugh, I was going to
Because
say
we don't need anybody else contributing more misinformation than what we get from the family.
Yeah, I know it's gonna. We're talking about Susan from Hidden in the Fog about she was, and again, she can do whatever she wants. Don't get me wrong. It's just pukable to me, especially when I know her voice. I would rather hear her voice than some fake ass AI talking crap. And I'm not talking even about the lines that she was interpreting. She was putting every line in AI, but AI is very distinctive because people always talk again, as if there's these, the fluttering leaves in the wind, on that brilliant,
And it was really, I think it was only two chats, like two messages, like there were 6 or 7 sentences in each message.
right.
But even the way that she did it, she broke it up sentence by sentence.
Yeah.
And allowed the AI to spell out its interpretation of the sentence. And I said, are you some type of an investigative reporter? Like, isn't that what you should be doing?
Anyway,
anyway.
The thing is that, again, each channel to do what their own. Okay, I'm just saying for me personally. I mean, first of all, AI videos, almost all of them are just full of crap. They're full of Jack and Lily crap is what they are. As for a diaper, absolutely not to the diaper. And again, I don't know if Daniel's spewing more things to her, probably. Literally, for the most part, I'm really tired of giving that man a platform just to say the same shit that he says and then tries to, poor me, I'm the victim here. No. Jack and Lily, make no mistake about it, Daniel. Jack and Lily are the victims here. Okay. They're the ones that need answers on stuff like that. And I mean, like I said, to me, a full-blown narcissist, his personality is narcissistic anyway, in my opinion. And honestly, I just really, about Jack and Lily. Okay. Right. That's kind of like I said, when Janie had that interview, it wasn't about Jack and Lily. It was to dispel rumors about you poor guys over there and what you guys all are going through. Imagine what Jack and Lily are going through. And then sit there and complain about your damn selves. All right. Yeah. That's how I feel about that. But it gets really boring, to be honest. Like, just he says he's not going to talk anymore. Then guess where he is? I mean, we all knew it, right? Come on now, right? I mean, Susan's going to float that. Why not? Until she can get whatever she gets, but she's just going to get the same stuff at the end of the day. I mean, imagine putting Daniel's whole 1 hour long paragraph into AI.
We'd be here for 2 days.
Oh yeah.
You
Anyways,
thought Janie's 2.5 hours would be bad?
I was going to say something. There was something I was going to say and I totally forgot. But anyways, there was no credible source found info. It shouldn't have gone into the universe for people to believe it, in my opinion. What are you talking about there? Talking about the diaper thing? Because, sorry, I'm playing catch up on these. Rob, I get a lot of good facts here. So that's why I asked Sunny. She knows how this works. At some point, you guys, somebody would have said something about a diaper by now.
What were they saying about the diaper? Because I didn't stay that long, I guess.
I don't know. Someone just up top there said that basically and hid it in the fogs, something about a diaper, and then it was deleted or something like that. Am I to assume that Daniel said something about a diaper, or was that just was that?
Must have been that they found the diaper.
Yeah, he didn't find no freaking ass diaper. Come on now. Again,
I think if they would have found that diaper, I think it would have been in the dooryard.
Yeah, you don't think that
Jack probably would have lost it before he got in the woods.
Yeah.
Or took it off, one or the other.
I just think that people are just trying to, I don't want to add things. In fact, I'm at a point here where I'm kind of at a stumping point because, yes, bring awareness to Jack and Lily. Absolutely. Said the diaper was next to the boot print. Yeah, my ass.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one.
One thing that I do want to mention though, last night I was in the chat after I got down, and I heard you talking about, was it last night or night before? Was last night night before last? Yeah. And you and Nova started talking about Jack. You said something, and Nova said, "Yeah, well, Jack would take his boot." Well, yeah, we don't know. And I said, "You don't know. Ask the bus driver. He was the one that, if you didn't pay attention to him, he was taking his boot off and throwing it at your head."
What I was gonna show was, 1 second here. You know what? Okay, I'm going to play a little bit. I know a lot of people sent me this yesterday with the Vanish by whatever her, well, let me just pull it up for a second. Share screen. I mean, there's no harm in talking about this stuff, eh? Let me just go to it. Okay. Kamala Hurley, she put out a video. Now, she came across as a really, nice person. Absolutely. You know what? Well, I'm going to play a little bit.
Is that the one doing the reading?
Yeah. This is the one. Yeah. The one that you sent yesterday and some other people. So thank you guys again. That, send me stuff and stuff like that. I do appreciate it. Some of it, if I know it's crap, thank you. But what people do try. They do try. Now, actually, I want to talk about that van quickly. Or no, the SUV, the Kia Sportage. And so there was a Kia Sportage that the one off.
And that is the buddy that Darren stays with. It's his girlfriend in the city, that Kia, the Sportage. And he was going back to Ontario, his buddy was. And Darren said, he asked Darren if he could put it up, the motors out of it in the city of Halifax. That's why it's going so. Because when I looked at it, I said, "Holy frig, that's cheap for 2016." So I asked Darren what was wrong with it, and that was the issue. The motor went out of it in Halifax, and Oh, what was the other thing I asked him when I was talking to him? I asked him his vehicle and what
Yeah.
Equinox. Remember when he was first driving the vehicle, and I was saying it was a Chevy, like a Jimmy?
Yeah.
It's not. It was a Chevy Equinox. That's what he was driving when his vehicle blew up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. But just to make sure, okay, because the Kia Sportage, that
Portage.
was, yeah, that was during the morning there. So Darren was driving a blue one. This was a black one, and it had it came back to a person's name. Okay, I'm not gonna say the name, even though it says it in the scanner. But let's just say it came back to a person with the name Greg. Okay, and not Greg from InChat or anybody like that, but just meaning like ironic, of course. But Darren's was his girlfriend's was a blue one, um, not a black one, and it had a totally different person's name to it and stuff like that, because they already confirmed that. Okay, they already confirmed that who that vehicle belonged to that morning. So but thank you, because I get why, it looked kind of sus when you got a Kia Sportage that morning, and
And the
then
Kia Sportage, that's the two guys that was walking down the riverbank.
yeah,
Got the helicopter spotted.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay. No, I don't have any plans to travel to Nova Scotia in my near future. Maybe one day. I don't know. Never been there. I've only been to Newfoundland. And that's because my ex-husband is from Newfoundland and we took our son when he was 2. Other than that, I don't see that side of the world, to be honest with you. I've gone as far as, well, Saskatchewan, I guess. Yeah. That's about as far as I've gone. Alberta and BC. So at this point, nope. If I could magic carpet ride, kind of like Jack and Lily did out of that home or something like that, perhaps. If I could teleport, that would be amazing. I would do it in a second. If I could Google transport. Hi, I watch you every day, Justice for Jack and Lily. I saw this video by this lady. Interesting. Yeah, well, let me say this. Shani, I should take a trip to Nova Scotia. Are you going to pay for it? You gonna pay for that? No, I already just took my vacation. My next vacation is at Christmas time. Like I said, there's no plans on it. If it happens, it happens. I'm kind of a YOLO person. Charmaine says, Sonny, let's go. I'm from Newfoundland. I love living in yeah, I've only been there once to gander on there, but anyways, okay, let's just play hold on, I'm just going to play a start clipping because I do want to say something near the start. So I'm just going to hit play quickly.
Going to be okay. And sometimes spirit comes through. Our loved ones can come through, even spirit guides, angels, so much more.
Okay.
But messages can be delivered that are important.
So for anyone that is new and doesn't know me this well, okay, so I've had this experience, right? So I had the experience where this young nephew used obviously me as his outlet to ask me to tell his mom that he was sad because she was sad, right? So it was back in 2005, 2006, right? That this side nephew, he passed away from meningitis. His name was Jaron. And anyways, my son was about 5 years old at the time that Jaron had passed away, and Jaron was like about 3 years old. Anyways, I didn't know him too well, only met him twice in my life. Again, so my mom, I have a couple stepdads, okay? My real dad, okay, he died already. My other stepdad, John, he's still alive, living in Sardis. Don't ever really speak to him anymore, though. And then my kind of other stepdad, Bruce, which my mom was with for the last like 20 or 25 years and stuff like that. So Bruce had 3 daughters, Michelle being the oldest. So it was her her son. She had Savannah, which is the older girl, and then little Jaren. And again, didn't know him, only met him twice, wouldn't have known this message that he did give to me. And I heard it when I was at the funeral. But bottom line was, he used me as his outlet to obviously give a message to his mom. And I always feel that's just because, if I know on here sometimes, I don't take people's bullshit, but by no means am I this, cranky Sunny or anything like that. I spend most of my days laughing and joking around and just talking with people and stuff like that. Again, I've been in customer service for about 40 years now in hospitality. So my thing is with people, okay? People, for me, have always had a special place in my heart. But then as you grow older, you realize that there's some people that are just leeches, narcissists, that are just leeches or use you and stuff like that. And then there's other ones that you really want to give your time to, because they're looking maybe for help. And I'm a fixer by nature, that I always want to fix problems, fix people, fix sadness and stuff like that. But anyways, in my family, I am the only one that's as carefree and open-minded to about people living their lives and not being, judgmental that way. Like if somebody wants to do something, who am I to say, as long as they're not like abusing, children or stuff. Oh, Kent dropped. As long as they're not abusing like children or something like that. Other than that, I don't want people to tell me how to live my life, and I don't expect me to tell me how you should live your life, unless of course it's involving abuse or something like that. That's different. But anyways, so that particular day, I get a phone call from my mom, and then my mom told me that Jaron had passed on the way to the hospital. They thought he had the flu, but he started getting little black spots or something on his body, and he ended up dying on the way to the hospital. So that particular day, after I got a phone call from my mom, I literally I just went upstairs. At this point, when I was living with my ex-husband, I just went upstairs, lied on the bed, when you keep your feet on the floor and then you just throw yourself back. And then I just started saying a prayer. Now, I'm not a churchgoer by no means whatsoever, right? My mom only sent us there because to get us out of her hair. But other than that, like, it's not that I don't believe and stuff. It's just that I was never, like, it's not like I'm a Christian or this or that. I just am Sunny, and I just believe what I believe type of thing. And I believe that, you always want to search. Is there an afterlife? What happens when we die? And stuff like that. Like, people do question that, right? And everyone can have their own beliefs. I don't care. Like I said, do you, I'll do me, okay? But anyways, so I said a prayer, and in my head, I hear a voice. The voice asks me if I could tell his mom that he's sad because she's sad, but that he's okay, right? Now, I'm open to a lot of things, but I'm not open to looking like a total idiot to a mother that just lost her boy and someone. So, we all talk in our heads. That's natural, right? Now, I also double up words a lot. Shay, bear, my dog and stuff like that. So he proceeded to ask me a few times if I could tell his mom. And I'm like, look, Jaron, I said, I'm willing to do a lot of things, but I'm not willing to look like a Cracker Jack. And then he says, well, what if I make you a deal? What if I tell you 2 words? And if you hear those 2 words at my funeral, please tell my mom, that I'm sad because she's sad, but that I'm okay. And so I was like, fair. That is fair. That was more than fair, right? If I hear 2 words, absolutely. Sure. That means I am talking to you. So a week later, the funeral comes, and the whole procession is playing out right to the end. In my head, I'm thinking, look, I don't got to say anything. Obviously, it's not true. Didn't happen. Whatever. Didn't hear those words. Great. Don't got to say anything. Now I don't got to, because I was feeling a bit of anxiety a little bit there. And then I felt relieved a little bit that it wasn't true. But then right at the end, Michelle, who's on the podium, she literally is like coming right to the end. I put my head down. I'm looking up through my bangs. And I'm just thinking, oh, okay, well, I guess it wasn't true. And just as I look up through my bangs, Michelle was getting off the podium, and then she walks right back in front of it. And just out of the blue, randomly, she says, I don't know if you guys know this, but Jaron had 2 favorite toys, his Tay-Tay and his Popo. And I couldn't remember if it was Popo or Papa at the end of the day. But bottom line is what I'm saying is those are the two words that he told me a week earlier. So that if I heard those, to please tell his mom that he's okay. Now, I speak to Jaron from time to time, but I would say about for 5 years after that, I spoke to him all the time. So when this lady says that messages can come through you, you have to be open. You have to be willing to accept them. I wasn't expecting the messages. I just know my personality, and I'm a very open person to anything. YOLO, anything can happen. You never say never, right? So I want to say from my heart to you guys is that I know that happened. I didn't know that this child even had 2 toys, let alone I only met him 2 times. So I know that was just one instance, one of things that I will always hold dear as a gift that was given to me, with the knowledge that our spirits are around us. You just have to talk to your loved ones. We can receive messages, but you have to be open. My twin sister, she thinks she's open, but she's not. She's like, well, why doesn't mom come to me? Well, I didn't ask for Jaron to come to me, type of thing. It's just one of those things. I just know that I'm a very open outlet, so I can easily see that someone would use my body in a sense, or my brain to pass on a message. So I just wanted to state that there. So again, if you haven't ever had something like this happen to you, and stuff like that, well, again, I can only explain what happened to me personally. And in my heart, I always want everyone to know that for all these cynical people out there and all these ones that are like, you're dead. Well, so be it. If you're dead, you're dead. You're not going to whatever anyway until you get there. But for me, it's always been something that I held close to my heart. And I didn't talk about it for a long time because I don't want to look like a Cracker Jack. But then I started telling the story about it just because if it could make someone feel a little bit better or heal somebody, just make them have a little bit of solace that our spirits are around us and all you have to do is talk to them. But you also have to be open to receive. If you're cynical and you want to be that way, so be it, right? I choose not to be. I just choose that anything can happen in life, and I would rather be open-minded about it all. But anyways, so I just did want to touch on that because it is true. People do have gifts. There are some people that truly do have good gifts, right? Like I said, I don't consider it a gift. I consider it a gift that was given to me to let me know that our loved ones are still around us and can talk to us. But
And send message. I would add one thing to that, and this seems to be what happens to me quite a bit, is if you're thinking of somebody that has passed, but you're thinking about them, something they said, something they did, or whatever. And the old saying goes that if you find a dime, they're saying hello.
yeah.
And I'm telling you, there's different people that I can be thinking about, and I look down on the floor, and there's a dime there. Like, it's just uncanny.
Oh.
You didn't see it beforehand, but...
You know what, Ken? My husband finds bobby pins, you guys, all the time. My husband will get out of a vehicle. Now, he was told there's this one time that we were read, both of us together, just for the sake of it. And the lady told him that it was a little girl that, I don't know, this little girl from like the 16th century or something like that follows him around. I think it's like his guardian or something like that. I don't know. But my husband, he has this uncanny ability. We'll get out of the truck, right? Or it's not a truck. It's a Ford Explorer Sport. We get out of there, right? And it's like my husband will go, look, a bobby pin. What's a bobby pin doing in our parking stall? Like a bobby pin, guys. Those things are so ancient, to be honest with you. Bobby pins. People still use them, but it's crazy, eh, Ken? So anyways, when he was read,
Yeah, it dimes for me, but I guess everything has their own thing. 'Cause, like, this is like the most canning one that it was a family friend, but growing up, if we ever had to go anywhere, like this guy, he drove the tow truck for us. And he was the one that took me back and forth the university when I went, except for my first trip down and my last trip home. My parents came on those trips. And he always used to like be sweeping the floors and stuff at the shop. And I'm telling you, like I'll be talking to somebody about him, and the next thing you know, I look down on the floor and there's a dime, and I just say hello.
And that, you know what? That's what I do as well. Like whenever I see 1111, I just go, hello, because that's what it means, really. But me and my husband, like we always just say make a wish on there. But I always know when somebody's around me because I always get this tingling sensation down my back all the time, when it happens. And but anyways, so for me, I don't like it's one of those things, I don't owe like anyone in a sense to prove anything. It's my own special knowledge, my own special stuff like you guys might have for something that happens to you. Like for instance, when my sister walked into Yisk, which is a lot of people say Jisk, right? When my sister walked into Yisk. Now my twin, love her to pieces, and by the way, Haley, my niece Haley, just got married. I believe it was yesterday. So it was just a small Indian wedding because she's married to Gurpreet. She married Gurpreet, I believe it was yesterday. But anyways, so congratulations, sweetheart. That's my twin sister's second child. Haley, little double child is what she is, to be honest with you. Love her to pieces. She's a redhead. But anyways, so my sister walks into Yisk, right? And that song on the radio or over Yisk is playing. And it's one that's in my mom's, like my mom loved that song. You guys know the song, It's a Wonderful World, that one. And I think to myself, that one, you know that one, right? Most people will. The Wonderful World one. But anyways, so my sister goes over to the pillows, and my mom's name is Gloria, okay, or is. But anyways, so my sister sees this pillow. It has Gloria. She turns over the pillow. Well, my twin sister's name is Tanya. And then so Tanya. So there was the other pillow beside it, and she was expecting to turn it over and see my name, but she didn't. She's seeing Tanya. So Tanya, Gloria, Tanya. And I'm like, don't you get it, Tan? Like, that's a sign. Just because it wasn't the same type of way I had it, that doesn't mean that wasn't a sign. So the song that my mom loves, Wonderful World, is playing on the Yes Thing. Plus she sees Gloria and her name beside it. I'm like, don't you get it? Right? But she expects it to happen a certain way. But the thing is that then that's putting an expectation on it. Right? People can come in mysterious ways. But anyways, the reason I brought that up is because I just really want people to know, you skeptics out there, stay skeptical, don't really care. But for the people out there that understand, is that I would rather, first of all, believe in something than believe in nothing. And at the end of the day, I already know that there's something. So I don't have to guess anymore, right? I already have my knowledge. And so that's good enough for me. As I walk the earth, thanking Jaron all the time for that wonderful gift. Yeah, angel 1111 is an angel number. So let me just, I'm gonna play a little bit more of this part here, and I know this goes along with the people that think that Jack and Lily, say got put into her vehicle and stuff like that. Mind you, she does have some inconsistencies towards the end when she's talking, though. But take it with a grain of salt, as everything, right? And let me just hit play. I'm just going to put it.
I had Jack and Lily Sullivan, the missing children from that small coastal Nova Scotia town, come to me in my dream. So while I cannot prove if they are alive or if they are dead, I will share with you that my perspective as an evidential medium who has worked with law enforcement agencies, private investigators, as well as families, that I suspect that they are in the afterlife. Again, always let the evidence lead the path forward to what is true and what isn't, because that's the world that we live in. But I plan on sharing with you some of the intuitive insights that I received from this dream and from remote viewing the circumstances of their disappearance. My hope in this video is that your intuition could perhaps be a missing piece in the mysterious circumstances of the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan. That in the dream, Lily was the primary communicator to me. She was the one who spoke. Jack was more silent in the background, and Lily was like the leader. So she took charge in guiding me, but I want you to understand that Jack was there the entire time. And very much like Ebenezer Scrooge in A Christmas Carol, where there were scenes with spirit to help him understand. What I'm about to share with you with my dream is that there were scenes to it. The first scene that occurred was actually we were flying, which is a very common dream as well, a dream experience as well. And I actually saw myself flying over beautiful, dense forests and woods. They brought me to the Atlantic Northeast to Pictou County, which is where their home was in Lansdowne Station. And they flew me over rivers and over very dusty dirt roads and roads that seemed like nobody ever really traveled. It was very desolate in the area where I was taken and very remote. But you could also smell the ocean and pine mixing together. That was one of the beautiful joys that Lily wanted me to experience in the dream, was this great scent and the air of the area. She was telling me that it was very special. And when we arrived to the mobile home and the trailer where they had lived their lives until they disappeared, she showed me that this was home. Of course, me as an adult coming to this place, I could see economic impoverishment and hardship left and right. A lot of cluttered items, broken things cluttered around this mobile home trailer. But where Lily took me in the dream was to show me that they knew the woods, that they knew not to travel alone into the woods. She showed me that they always stayed close to the house and that they wouldn't have left on some trip, whether it was a hot sunny day or it was snowing. They always stayed close to home. They knew better than to take off into the woods. There were certain things that were frightening to them, like times where they would hear coyotes howling in the distance, because she showed me that there would be moments where that would be scary for her as a child. With that, she also brought me into the bedroom, and it looked to me like the parents' bedroom, where she says that there was aspects of the investigation that were overlooked. So I don't know if the investigation was able to specifically go inside the trailer and search, but I see that there was some sort of important evidence that could trace their whereabouts. Because the other aspects that she brought forth to me is that there would be more evidence coming out in October 2025. And she also showed me that in 3 years, there would be a greater break to the case. She says that somebody knows what happens to them, but they're keeping silent out of fear for just their safety. And I do see that this individual that caused the harm to them had been in jail before. He's a man. I also see that the man that did this to them was someone that they had met before, a friend of the family. I don't know specifically who it was, but it's somebody that they knew. I also was shown that the morning that they disappeared, that they had heard the truck at the bottom of the driveway pull in. And I was shown a very dark gray, like F-150 truck, not new, an old one, and that the sides of the truck had rust because of the climate where the trucks are. There's issues with rust in the area. So I just want you to understand, she was showing me that there was rust on the side bottom doors of this black, and to me, I just say F-150. It was that kind of style of truck. It was a work truck, and it was somebody that's local, that understands all of these back roads. He pulled up that day because of the intense fight that I was shown that had happened the night before. So Lily kind of rewound time in the dream and shared with me that there was a big family argument between mom and dad. She also says that mommy knows more than she's been telling people, not meaning that she's directly the person that caused the issue to her, but because mommy hasn't shared her side, is sort of the way I interpreted it in the dream. So I want you to understand that other scenes that I saw in this dream that she shared with me is that the relationship between mommy and daddy, those two had what I would describe as a toxic relationship. It's interesting because after I woke up, I took time to research some of the aspects that I saw in my dream and saw that there had been an issue over the cell phone, that he would take her cell phones.
We'll stop it there for a minute because I want to kind of touch on this with you, Kent. Let me unmute you as well. Okay, so this part here, they're talking about the cell phones. Now it says, additionally, this Reddit post included various concerns, observations from neighbors and others, including an account of Malaya confided to her grandmother that Daniel would hold her down. And so that part up here is wrong on there. Yes, Malaya said it in the chat when Malaya spoke to me. That's when, so that is confirmed regardless. Because it says not officially corroborated. But anyway, so you guys know that that was in the chat, that Daniel would hold her down. But now in saying that, okay, so Kent, I know regardless, right? Everyone has their opinions about this case and what happened to Jack and Lily. I know that you remain hopeful that Jack and Lily, and I think all of us do, at the end of the day, we all would love it if Jack and Lily were alive, right? Some of us believe that they're not, others believe that there is, or that they are, and stuff like that. Now, one of the things that she talks about, Kent, was, of course, this big argument. I personally feel like there was an argument. That's just my own thoughts as well. Well, actually, hold on. Let me be real on that. There's a dog barking out there. Darren is the one that actually brought that up. He said that they were arguing, or that, okay, allegedly, that they were arguing from the mall, basically that area when they were making those stops there, and that fight continued on, allegedly, and that basically they got into a fight. Kids got in between, and then he kind of like tapered off with the rest of it, but it was almost with the impression of that maybe one of the children got hurt, something like that. Anyways, I know that both of them have claimed that there was no argument, but then again, I mean, they're both acting strange, amongst us. So what do you think about that part, Kent, when she's talking about, well, what parts are standing out to you?
Well, so far, she can be right on everything
Or nothing?
except for 3 years.
Right. Yeah.
We cannot do this for 3 years, people. We have to find the answers for Jack and Lily before that. As far as an argument goes, like I say, Darren was the one that told us about that.
I gotta mute myself
So-
while the dogs.
So you got to take what you want or what you don't want to believe. And is it possible? Definitely.
Whoops, sorry. I was gonna mute myself and I coughed.
Yeah. Could it be the reason? And could it be the accident that one of the children or both of the children got hurt? Yes. But it's not proven. Lisa, no, I don't think this man is Darren. Darren don't drive a gray colored old style. Like, that's an old style. And whether you want to say it has to be a Ford because it's a Ford in the picture, he doesn't drive that old of a truck. And it wasn't a truck that he was driving at the point when the kids went missing. He was driving a Chevy Equinox. He's driving a Ford truck now. Like I say, it's almost anything could have happened. And like I say, I don't, with anything that she has stated, other than it taking, she said we're going to get some information in October. Well, then I can see the 3 years being the trial by the time it get through the courts. But for whatever it was, but we can't take 3 years to find out what happened.
No, and again, right? Just like with anyone, okay, there's people you watch. A lot of people watch the psychic readings and stuff like that. And again, it's just a matter of you have to always remember that we are over 3 months into this now. Again, what's her name? Kamala. Again, I don't know how gifted she is. I'd have to go back and look at some of her other videos to see if there's anything myself. She comes off, like I like people that come off though when they just sound like they're down to earth,
They're not bullshitting.
Yeah,
There's not a bunch of theatrics
right
in
to it.
amongst what they're trying to say.
Yeah. On there. So yeah, so I think there was something else there that was in there that I wanted to mention as well. Either way, again, you know what? We don't know what happened to Jack and Lily. We don't actually. Well, but there's definitely some questions, right? We're going to question because we still have to remember what they said in their timeline and when it was possible that something like this could have happened. And unfortunately, because of their timelines, right? So, for instance, let's say that this truck pulls up at the end there. Well, we have to first start off with the fact, and I don't care what anyone says, this is my personal opinion, but on the scanner radio, it says 8 o'clock. That's because they were told that the children were last seen at 8 o'clock, regardless of the different versions between 8 and 8:30. Okay. We've seen in the articles that it was only a few minutes later that Daniel says that he got up because he wasn't hearing anything. Again, you're using their own timeline. They gave that timeline. There's two people that are giving that timeline, not once. So the fact that both of them can misconstrue that between 8 to 8:30, and then it jumped forward to 9:40 to 10:01, like 10:01, the gap area, because that's when they're saying that it happened, right? That's when these family members are saying it happened, including Malaya, because I asked her, are you certain that you heard the kids, right, between 8 to 8:30? And she said, and then she of course said yes.
But what they're saying, but that's what I believe. But what they're saying happened at 9:40, in my mind, is that's when they woke up and they heard quiet. It wasn't that they heard quiet everything in between there. Is that they woke up again at 9:40 because they were, as she stated, she was dozing in and out of sleep, and Daniel was supposed to be sleeping, but not in a heavy sleep. And at 9:40, that's the point when she woke up. Well, no, but I'm just saying, this is what I'm thinking that she's saying, is that that's when she woke up and heard quiet. Then she woke Daniel up and said, I don't hear the kids, or I tell him that I don't hear the kids, however she wants to word it. So then they get up and they search the trailer and go outside, start hollering, running around, looking in the yard and whatnot. And then they search that for 20 minutes. And then at 10:01, she makes the call to 911. That's what I believe she is saying has happened at 9:40. That's the point when she woke up and heard quiet.
No, that's not what they've said though, Kent. That's the difference. That's not what has been construed.
But that's the way that I interpret it, because they're not saying anything other than they were sleeping that I've seen, as far as Daniel or Malaya, after 8:30 until 9:40. They don't tell us.
Yes, they do. That's just the point. But that's the point.
What are they telling us happens in between there?
No, that's the point. They are saying that they last heard and seen Jack and Lily. So Daniel says only a few minutes later that he gets up. He says a few minutes later, right? But then he says it even in another article where it says about 20 minutes. Okay. So no, they're not you like that's your interpretation, but that's not what they've said. They've used the time of 8 to 8:30 as only a
The
few
last
minutes.
scene.
No, I don't want to get into this like this again because their words are clear. Their words are clear in the article about 8 to 8:30 is when they were last heard and seen. And then Daniel says a few minutes went by and I didn't hear them whatever in the kitchen or whatever. So I got up. So he's saying that, but then that turns into 20 minutes. Okay. So
Well,
meaning,
in the questions that he answered for us through myself, he said that Malaya woke him up at 9:40.
yeah, that's what they're saying now. But that's not what they were saying at the start. But that's the point. Is that the point is in their own words, in all the beginning articles, that the 20, I know that I get what you're trying to interpret, but there's a thing about interpreting versus what they're saying, right? And they are saying, Daniel is saying that he heard Lily or seen Lily. Well, he said
Up
several
in and out
times.
of the bedroom. He
Right,
said 2 times that was supposed
right,
to be between the 8 and 8:30.
right.
And Malaya said the last time that she heard them out in the other room was between 8 and 8:30. So then the RCMP said, okay, 8 o'clock will be our last time seen.
Yeah, but you're trying to interpret that somehow that they fell asleep up until 9:40 and that's when they woke up again. But that is not what Daniel has said the entire time. I mean, in his own articles, from the start, he said after that, only a few minutes went by. So they're using the time of 8 to 8:30 as their base time. And that only a few minutes went by where he didn't hear the kids. And then next thing you know, that turns into 20 minutes. So that is in his own words in the articles. So how can you misinterpret that to be like, I mean, I get why someone would go, oh, well, they're using this time. But no. Their words are, it wasn't, we slept in for an hour. No, right? There wasn't anything about that, obviously. It was the fact that he's saying right after that he didn't, within a few minutes, that he didn't hear any noise. Because remember, he's not in a deep sleep, he's saying. So it's his own words in the articles. At the very start of this, now things are getting twisted differently, to 9:40 to whatever. But I'm saying that no matter what, those are his words that he's been like from the 8 to 8:30. It's not like he hasn't even said that. He has, but those are his words. So
I
how are
know they
you
have,
twisting it?
but they have also said that they were sleeping. And they both said they were sleeping. Daniel not in a deep sleep. Malaya said that she woke up at 9:40 and heard quiet. So then she rolled over and she woke Daniel up.
I don't understand how you're misconstruing their own words to twist it to 9:40 though. That's what I'm not
Because
getting.
I never heard them say anything else happened between 8:30. Forget about what happened
Right.
between 8 and 8:30, but I never heard them saying, oh, well, we did this between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, and then this between 9 and 9:40. They both said they
Okay.
were sleeping. So
Yep.
from
And a few minutes later,
when Lily asked, but if you were sleeping and you woke up and you were only awake for 5 minutes, and that's only a few minutes. Like, I'm just going by what they actually
I am
said
going
that
by
they
what they
did,
actually
and they
said.
said they were sleeping.
Yeah, they twisted that to 9:40 to 10 o'clock, of course. But that's not what they said in the article. That's not what Daniel said. He literally says, Kent. Like, I'm not going to say
I know he changed his time frame, like you say, from a few minutes to
Where's my
whatever.
article? Hold on. Let me.
I
One second.
understand that totally. But what I'm saying, there was
No,
no
they did
other
say.
action.
Go ahead.
There was no other action stated to have been done as far as going out at 8:30 and going searching and or whatever else. The only thing that they said that they did, whether it's true or not,
God.
is they fell back asleep. Now, Malaya, she didn't see, or originally said that she didn't see. Daniel says that she did, but she never said that. I believe that she did say that she seen Lily when Lily was popping her head in and out of the room. All she had stated is that she heard the kids playing in the other room that morning. We don't know what the hell time that was. That could have been anywhere from when Malaya was awake at 6 o'clock, well, 6:18, to whenever she fell back asleep until she woke up at 9:40 and everything was quiet.
Yeah, that's a good story, but it's not the true story. Magic in the air.
Well, what other actions and when? I know Daniel used the term few minutes, but I'm saying what other actions did they say that they done between 8:30 and 9:40?
Well, no, I'm not saying that they did actions between there because they couldn't tell a freaking timeline if their life depended on it. But it's their own words that literally put them saying that right there, a few minutes later, after hearing Lily and Jack. So a few minutes later, 20 minutes later, right? Their own words, right? Their own words.
Well, like I say, a few minutes to some people, and like then you would say, like, why wouldn't you say an hour? Like an hour later we heard. But the only reason why they ain't going to tell you that it was an hour later is because as it is, everybody is thinking that they're neglectful for being in the bed at 9:40 anyway and not getting the kids up and getting them some breakfast. So it's to them in their head, it makes it sound better if they say, oh, well, only a few minutes pass, but a few minutes is less, well, probably categorized less than 5 minutes, because if it was more than 5 minutes, they would probably say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, whatever it was. So when they use the term a few minutes, that
So
to
you're
me,
going to speak for them?
no, I'm speaking for what I believed I said.
Okay.
Because we don't have any other statements of action other than sleeping between 8:30 and 9:40, that's all I know that they did. How long? I don't know.
Well, so that we must disregard any of Daniel's interviews that he did where he says a few minutes later, and we're supposed to interpret that as, oh, I'm sorry, that's like an hour later.
No, what I'm saying is that we've proven that
What
he
is that?
told us mistruths
Well,
or
that's
lies,
okay.
whatever you want to call them. So when he says a few minutes, could that be another lie? More than likely.
Well, again, we didn't hear Jack or Lily say, Jackie boy, come on, Jackie boy, there's a truck at the end of the driveway. Let's run out. That's not what their story is. Their story is,
Well,
is
no,
that
that's the psychic story. That's not their story.
no, I'm talking about, right, their story. Right. This is the
Yeah.
psychic story. Right. So what I'm trying to equate here is that, again, psychics, whatever, she comes off as a very kind of grounded individual.
Yeah.
But my point being here, regardless, is that, okay, they've used the timeline as 9:40 to 10:01 as that they both came outside, can't find the
Done the
kids.
searching around the dooryard and whatnot, and ran up to the other porch. It took Daniel only 30 seconds to do that, and everything. That's what I mean.
Here,
All that
right,
happened between 9:40 and 10:01, from
what
what
they're
we're
claiming.
told.
Right. What they're claiming. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So bottom line is whatever to the other thing. But bottom line is that, right, all these inconsistencies between this, but they were trying to say that Malaya basically, had someone. I mean, he's saying that Cindy did it, but that Malaya wasn't a part of it. Then they're saying that, Malaya was standing there with metal in her hand. And this is all between Janie sitting in her camper ass for 10 minutes, right? As she hears her own son yelling for Jack and Lily.
How did we get back on that?
How? Because we're
I thought
talking about.
I thought we were talking about what the psychic is saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the point is, in the psychic's interpretation, she's saying that a vehicle came up, a truck, a F-150 came up to the end of the driveway and scooted the children like, come on, Jack.
She's saying that the truck pulled in. She's not saying that it pulled up the end of the driveway. She said the truck pulled in.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know that the dog is supposed to bark.
Well, that's just it.
All the time.
But that's just it. So meaning what I'm pointing out is, if people sit there and go off of this lady's interpretation, take it with a grain of salt, because we already know all the information as best as we can, that a dog would bark. We didn't hear, she isn't saying like, Jackie boy. So out of all of this, think about this, that two kids decided to go out, not only open the door and then close the door. Daniel's saying that he's not even in a deep sleep. And Janie's saying that they're on the swing set, or like they're near the swings playing or whatever. And then you're telling me that Daniel couldn't have heard all this. So what I'm saying here is just use your better judgment when it comes to, regardless, when psychics are talking or this lady is talking, Kamala, is that think to yourself about the timeline of events of what they've said, to the possibility of this truck that pulls up or whatever, hey kids, hop on in during this time window of 20 minutes, right? So that's what all I'm saying, because Kent, there's tons of people that are going to watch this and they're going to believe that she's being accurate, because
yes, I understand that totally. And you can only believe what a psychic says compared to the real information. And that's the problem that we have, is we don't have very much real information as far as timeline goes.
Yeah. Any clips? Absolutely not. Look at his comment, actually. Her comment. Wow, Sonny, you and Kent should sort this out privately. No. It's because we have the right to have our differences of opinions. That's why. It's called a live, and it's called that we can sit there and talk and say whatever we want on the live. And what are we saying? Hey, Ken, are you okay? Teddy bear? Everything going good for you over there?
And I can understand where people think that we're arguing, but all we're doing is pointing out the references to our own points of view in relation to what this psychic is saying. And all I said, and I'm not saying that she's 100% right, I said, but she can be right on everything that she said if she wants to be, except for the 3-year point. I don't accept that we have to wait, or we're going to have to wait 3 years. There will be, I'll tell you right now, if we have to wait 3 years for this case to be solved, there will be a lot of people in Pictou County that will need some help.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. That's not speculation. That'll be a fact, because it's weighing on people's minds and souls that heavy.
Yeah. And just to explain, and Ken, when we get off our live, we don't sit here and have arguments. We go back to the drawing board of everything in mine and Charmaine's and Kent's chat. So anyone that watches us knows healthy debating, good debating, right? Because we don't know what happened at all. But Kent, Charmaine, and I, and whatever, if we want to have healthy, nice debates and discussions on here, we will. And we know full well that after this live is over, good talk. And then we talk about the case and we talk about information and stuff like that again. Right, Kent?
Yep.
Yeah. We don't sit there and start getting mad at each other and stuff like that, because we know we're all passionate about this case and we want answers and stuff like that. We're not going to have a fallout. Don't worry about that. You
I
know,
like that comment from Nancy Dar. Exactly, Shannon. If only the kids' families were this passionate.
absolutely, absolutely. For that. Now, let me play a bit more here. How much? Well, what part? 'Cause I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let's see where we're
So
at.
she couldn't contact people. The other aspects in the dream that came forth that I feel are important is the bedroom window, that there is evidence there. I also want you to understand the man who took the children, all he had to do was open up the truck door and tell the kids that he was taking them somewhere fun. But he ended up driving them 2.5 hours, I believe, north and west to a remote location. I will let you know the third person that I see, I cannot clearly identify who he is connected to. If he's connected to Daniel, if he's connected to the mother, I can't clearly, even in this dream, tell you who this third person is. But he was known to the children. I also see that he has a beard, and the day that he picked the kids up, I see he also had like some kind of soft cloth bandana that he had pulled over his nose, and he was wearing sunglasses. I also see that he was barrel chested, he had muscular arms, and he was more on the tall side. I think that he was between 6'1" and 6'2". I also believe that he had a flannel jacket on the day that he picked the kids up, black and gray and white flannel jacket. And he had, again, this sort of like bandana over his face, and he told the kids that he was cold, and that's why he was wearing it. I almost wonder if perhaps this was an opportunity by this third person to disrupt the relationship between the mother and the stepfather. I don't believe that he had intended to harm the children. I don't believe that this was an attempt to be nefarious, but I want you to understand that accidents happened along the way that led to, I believe, them crossing into the afterlife. So I want you to understand spirit works through absolutely every aspect and way possible, whether it's ChatGPT and AI, or if it is the algorithm on social media, spirit will find you and communicate to you. And it's interesting because as I woke up and had a coffee to actually understand the location and the land where they were raised and where they disappeared. Very specifically, I see that the indigenous people, the Micmac people, are stewards of the land, and that they had lived there for centuries until settlers showed up in the 1700s, and most of them were from Scotland. And it's interesting because the Scottish and the indigenous Micmac people were able to cohabit.
For a second, Kent, because too, it's kind of like she's saying this, right? But then she's saying that they got into this vehicle, that she doesn't believe that the person in the vehicle was trying to be, like to harm the kids or nothing like that. Somebody known to the family with the description she gave, blah, blah, blah. She wasn't sure whose side it's on, Malaya's side or Daniel's side, according to her. But she says that, but then she feels like they crossed over because of accidents. So what?
Yeah, and it, like I say, this is a little bit more off the cuff than what it was in the first segment.
Right.
And I would feel that some people would wholeheartedly feel that's what happened. Other people might feel some of that happened, and other people would feel that none of that happened.
Exactly.
So it's all in how much you want to put your belief in somebody else.
Right. I mean, for me, I think about everything that's been said by Daniel, by Malaya, by the information received from family members, all of it. And then I'm just trying to myself, okay, right? We're hearing about, of course, Daniel and his not use of math, but I don't believe that that's true myself. I absolutely believe that that's 1,000% true, based on the information given by Malaya, by Haley, and and it goes in line with well, let me just really put this. It's true. It's true. In my biggest opinion, okay, it's true. But again, it's just right. So how do kids get taken, and then all of a sudden some accident happens to them, and now they've both crossed over and stuff like that. But again, I'm just trying to use the timeline, and in my head, or the information that we have, just trying to make sense out of it, because at the end of the day, do you think that practical linguists, like I know that Mike Damon covers, doing, the thing, just like the practical
Mike seems to be too determined to either get to the Fundy Basin or the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. Well, I mean,
that's his only 2 points, and I think both of those points, my own, and this is my own belief, I think both of those 2 points are too far away from home.
I think so too. But again, I mean, each their own. But I guess what I'm saying is, besides the few, most people will definitely agree that the oddness of both these people, Daniel, like leaving Janie out of it for it regardless, Daniel and Malaya are not showing what would be truthful signs, in our opinion. And almost everybody feels the same way. So I don't think that we're all, dense and stupid, and aren't seeing that what's happening is not natural. This is not natural from cases of missing people. What's going on here? And that's because, again, there's mistruth, there's lies, right? To me, there's deception. And again, it's just not the way that cases go of missing people that are truly wanting to find their loved ones. And like I said, I don't think we're having the wool pulled over our eyes here, and that Daniel and Malaya possibly, of course, don't know something that happened to Jack and Lily here, right? Now, what the truth is, we don't know. I'm just, again, myself, just trying to take the timeline of the whole thing. Now, I don't mean to offend anybody, but I am going to skip past some of this because I don't want to listen to the whole thing. But there is a piece that I do want you to hear, or a few more pieces. So sorry, guys. I know the story, but a lot of you guys have watched this already. But I want
And
to.
yes, we can expect Janie to be able to give us some information because she was on the property. But
Absolutely.
this comes back to the 2 custodial parents,
Mm-hmm.
the biological mother and a stepfather,
No.
that needs to, and I can't say to speak up more because they've spoken, and what they tell us isn't what happened. So they need, and they don't, I guess they don't have to tell us anything.
Right.
But they have to tell the RCMP for Jack and Lily.
Absolutely. And
Put
that's
Jack and Lily ahead of their own
own selves.
selves, as most parents would put their kids ahead of themselves. And if they don't know, if they both honestly don't know, which I know everybody's going to say, oh, they know. But if they both honestly don't know the end result, then tell them that. But give them the information that you do have accurately so that they can work with it. Because as we see and hear, the information that we're working with isn't accurate.
No, Valley. No, you see Janie's dog? That dog ain't taking no child's life.
There would have been evidence in the yard if a dog would have attacked, whether it's Janie's dog, Justin's dog, or a bear. It's not a case of wildlife.
I don't know why everyone's talking about, say, Tent. Tent is the person that had an argument with Earl when Tent didn't even know that Earl was the father of Daniel. That video surfaced again on Joseph Morris's channel, and we showed it here and stuff like that. No, you guys.
And he's probably headed back to Ontario by now, because the last time that he was talking to us, he told us a couple weeks he'd have to head back to Ontario. But I see most of his stuff is down on the social media.
Yeah. I mean, I still talk to Tent, like, every other
Has he
day.
headed back to Ontario yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did he say?
I'm not. I haven't asked him if he's on his way back, but I don't think. Well, I mean, with the whole fire ban, but no. I think he's working. He's just doing something else in the meantime as well, right? I think if you're on his YouTube channel, he's showing this in the sky, this object and stuff like that. But obviously he's limited to what he can do. But I mean, if people are wanting to go down a tent path, honestly, yes, he got a video recording of Wade. He clearly said that in his video that Cindy had put up about a trailer. He used the person that he's working with came across that ad, and he used it as an opportunity to try. What he said was to try to talk to Malaya, but obviously or find out where she was, type of thing. Anyways, he used the opportunity to, of course, record him, and then no one forced Wade to tell Tent all that information. Granted, some people might go, well, that wasn't so great to do, but pretty sure you guys enjoyed all that information by the same token. Because again, I mean, I know I did. Regardless, maybe it's not everybody's way and stuff like that, but a lot of people are pissed off with this case because Mom basically isn't saying hide nor shit. Daniel's been the only one that keeps coming out like a freaking popple out there, bouncing around the channels. But Daniel's downfall, and again, if he could pull his head out of his ass, Daniel's downfall is the fact that he doesn't know when to stop speaking, or if he was speaking, it should stay consistent, at least with very minimal changes to a storyline. But that he has done himself absolutely no favors. And his downfall, honestly, is this: Daniel thinks he's smarter than the rest of us. You can tell he thinks he knows what he's doing, and he thinks that he's knowing exactly how to play people, play the news, play us, play this. Daniel doesn't understand that his downfall is his lack of transparency, of sitting on somebody's life. So the news is only going to do so much for Daniel. Other than that, again, if somebody's being truthful, you would have no problem popping up on somebody's live to discuss it, to discuss any inconsistencies, and just be genuine and truthful. Because why? You want to use the social media to you want to have your cake and eat it too. But the thing is truthfully, if Daniel were to literally sit up on a live and literally explain the night, be truthful, and honest with all his answers. If you're being truthful, you got nothing to hide, then you have no problem joining up on somebody's live. He is very arrogant. I'll give him that. He thinks that he knows what he's doing. And to me, he's just a little fish in a big pond of sharks, especially in the true crime community. He doesn't know this. He thinks he does. He thinks he has control over what exactly he's doing, but instead of doing for the better for Jack and Lily, he's basically had most people turn against him because of his lack of inconsistency in these games that he's playing, when he doesn't realize that actually physically, like hearing a voice, having him come up on talk, doesn't have to be this channel, but you know what I'm saying? This is where he's failing, because people that want to tell the truth, no problem. Yep, I'll come join a channel. I'll sit there. Yep, explain my inconsistencies. But again, be careful, not sit there and be so inconsistent. It's his own downfall, right?
And
So, go ahead, Ken.
And that's what he could do on his own channel.
He could.
And like if he felt more comfortable rather than like being hammered with questions.
Yeah.
But like you say, as long as he was telling the truth. And then Amy's got a comment in here that I would like to highlight. She said, Kent,
Where is it?
Get back to
What's
it.
Amy?
Yeah, she said that I'm spreading misinformation. And if you're referring about the dogs, Amy, what I just left a comment about the dogs.
I don't see
Yeah,
it.
because she said, LOL, Joe, it's misinformation that Kent is saying. It isn't true, but yes, beautiful. So I don't know what the misinformation it is you think I'm saying. If it was my comment in the chat about the dogs, I'm just repeating the research that Nova said that she done. And on the RCMP's website, it says that all of their dogs have cadaver training. So we know there was at least one canine unit from the RCMP amongst the 8 dogs. And we know that that dog was on the property. So that is not a cadaver specific dog, but there was a dog that has some cadaver training, according to the RCMP website, on the property. So I don't know what you're talking about me saying misinformation, because I either try to keep it to my own beliefs or I repeat what other people state. Yeah,
I was going to say, I'm going to move, Kent, I'm just going to move on now with this because I don't want this to be too long, because I have to do a members live on there. But yes, so hold on, let me go back. There's a certain part here. Let's see what she's saying.
About the mother, I also see that the mother felt fear for her safety. Took the children was to path to truth, but I'm just sharing with you, I don't think that's what happened. I think that there is a third individual that knew the children. They would have wandered into the woods.
We'll start there.
And somehow got lost. I don't believe that. To me, that makes the most logical sense. Kids will be kids, of course, so let the evidence always be the clear path to truth. But I'm just sharing with you, I don't think that's what happened. I think that there is a third individual that knew the children and brought them 2.5 hours northwest to a specific place. And that the reason why this individual took the children was to disrupt the relationship. I feel like people were trying to separate the two from what was a very toxic relationship. Now, about the mother, I also see that the mother felt fear for her safety. I believe when I look at her energy that she wanted to leave the house immediately because she felt unsafe. That's why she moved in with family members. I also specifically will share energetically, as I look at the mother, that she had wanted out of that relationship for a long time. But I don't believe that she would want to leave the relationship in a way that would cause harm to her kids. I believe that she loved her children. And I know there's a lot of speculation around substance abuse at the house. And despite the substance abuse, I don't feel that she would want harm to come to the children. It's almost as though there was either a jealous lover, perhaps, that caused the children to go missing, or if it was someone that had a vendetta against one of the parents. So I will just.
This to me is where it kind of goes astray a bit here.
Yeah, she's coming up with a good story.
Yeah, like, so I mean, her first thing, it was somebody that knew them. That was, no ill will intentions. And we're talking about some jealous person, and then, or somebody that held a vendetta. But yet they wanted the relationship to disperse. But so that, don't you think that that's kind of strange now that she's kind of now saying this? Struck me as
Well,
kind of,
yeah, like it just seems the more, and I don't know if it's the more in depth, because like I say, I don't have that ability. And I don't know if she is misreading stuff. Like I say, I can't comment on it because I don't know about it.
yeah. So this is kind of where it goes a little bit astray to when she was first talking at the start, to all of a sudden some jealous person that wants the relationship, I guess, to break down. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it was a very toxic relationship. Myself, in my personal opinion, you got somebody that's saying that, hey, he was controlling, abusive, and he's saying, Papa Leia, waterfall, roses, Skittles, rainbows. Remember, it's like two clearly different people looking at their relationship different ways. But in his world, it was just funny actually, because I was just watching I think it was an EMW episode last night. And, this, it was a portrayal of this husband taking his wife's life. But of course, he said it was an accident. Now, it was, at the end of the day, it was probably based around the fact of she actually was cheating on him, right? Mostly through online stuff, right? Probably during the World of Warcraft that she was playing this wife. But he himself, you could tell, was a controlling narcissist that he wanted to control. So in his brain, he basically talks about how he kind of had an affair during the relationship, but of course that, he didn't know nothing about this. And you can tell his whole thing is that if I controlled pretty much every aspect of her life, that I even sent, like he would even send her like where her GPS was, like, what are you doing there? Right? So type of thing. So in his narcissistic mind, in this one I was watching yesterday, he just couldn't fathom the fact that she'd been having this relationship apparently for 3 years or so, mostly online. They had only met twice, once for coffee and then the second time in a hotel room. But he tried to say that she hung herself by a cord, and oh my God, the situation. But just listening to him, how the controllingness was about how he controlled pretty much a lot of her life. And how could she have possibly cheated on me? Because I controlled her. I told her, what she could do, when she could go somewhere. Obviously not, right? But I think he must have found out because she had been texting him while they were sitting at the bar. So maybe he grasped hold of that. But anyways, he ended up being found guilty. But it's when you're listening to these people, and when I'm listening to Daniel, you have this. Well, when I'm listening to what Malaya's words are, and then I'm listening to what Daniel's saying, right? Mr. Hero, Mr. I did all this, I did all that, everything is about what Malaya didn't do and what he did. And when you look at Malaya's words, this is the exact epitome of what a controller looks like. They control what you wear, what you say, or control you by love bombing you, right? They do something like hold her down so she can't call her mother, right? And then they love bomb you, and then you forgive them, and then they do it again, and then you forgive them, like I said. So when Malaya leaves, again, we don't know the true reasons why she ended up fully leaving that day, but I mean, again, Haley said, what the fuck is going on, basically. And Malaya ends up leaving, and then you can tell, I mean, just by her own actions, is that she goes and deletes all Daniel's pictures off of her Facebook. So there's definitely this, what Daniel totally is either trying to make us believe, or he totally believes it himself because he's so far, a narcissist that he truly believes that they had this amazing relationship. Thanks for thanks. Got bills to pay. Thanks for
Super chat. $5 Canadian. You're awesome. Thank you. Get a coffee tomorrow on your way to work.
anyways, but there's like so many factors in this whole timeline, and how the actions, or like why this all transpired with Jack and Lily. My head is boggled with information because I'm trying to sort out, okay, up all night, doing meth, and Malaya, sees him doing it or whatever. He's tweaking all night. And then, oh yeah. And okay, I made that video because of that nasty person, just for the fun of it, to be honest with you, because that's you guys know I put out that video, and then someone said, well, if you don't care, why, why did you put it out? Because that's my point. I don't care. That's why I put it out, just to show you how, how people are with the emails and stuff we receive sometimes, sitting there saying that I was trashing Lana. Kent, have I ever trashed Lana on a live in the 1 minute that she was watching a 7-hour live?
Not that I witnessed.
Never have we. But anyways, so I was saying that Malaya, it has to be third-hand information, obviously, but Alana was speaking with Malaya. Okay, she was speaking with Cheryl at first, and then and then she was talking to Malaya herself. And then so this person's putting like, darn well it was Cheryl and not Malaya, and you were, like you were so nice to Alana, and now you're like bashing her. I'm like, what drugs are you on? I want to know what drugs you're personally on, and it was just and then she was like insulting Belinda, do we know that Belinda is this good granny type of thing? And it's just like, F off, honestly. But that's the shit that we get, right? But anyways, so you watched a minute of a live, and you decided
your opinion.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So it was more of a comical relief for me, because it's just ridiculous, the stuff that people will say sometimes, or send in an email and stuff like that. And it's just, honestly, I just wanted to put pie right back in her face. You want to send me this message? Okay, great. I'm just going to put it on the internet for everyone else to see how ridiculous people can be and what they say, and their ignorance and their stupidity. So Heather, enjoy that, by the way, because that's what it is. It means nothing to me. We all know that Belinda's been the only one here that's been speaking out for Jack and Lily. And Alana was trying to do something from the bottom of her heart. But Alana was speaking with Cheryl, and then she was talking with Malaya. So when she was done talking, she would talk to Belinda. And that's when I asked, so Belinda, can I use this information, right? And she, of course, was sure. So she basically had said that Alana told her that that Malaya had told Alana that she had seen Lily once that morning. And the other thing that she said was that that Malaya said that Daniel was, high as a kite, and he was up all night. And, so let's see, argument happening that day, perhaps, right? But I'm trying to understand the gaps in between. Where could Jack and Lily, like what happened to Jack and Lily, that's, with the information that we have. And again, so that's kind of all I'm trying to do in my head, is trying to take this piece of information, this piece, and just try to understand, was there an argument? Did they both know about it? Was it Daniel? Is there this piece that someone just drove up in their F-150 truck, no dog barked and all that? Like, you have to be realistic about the information as well, right? And that's all I'm trying to do, is take all of the information and try to figure out, okay, like what truly happened with Jack and Lily. If two people aren't willing to be voices properly for Jack and Lily. Well, I know that I'm not going to solve the case. I know that we're not going to solve the case, right? I mean, but do I want to understand what happened to Jack and Lily? Well, yeah, I do. I want to understand the truth for Jack and Lily. But the first and foremost thing is that if anyone's involved with having knowledge about Jack and Lily, first and foremost, I would expect that all this information has gone to the RCMP, because they are going to be the ones that are doing the arresting. So we just hope and pray that the people that have answers are giving the RCMP all their knowledge, because they're the ones that need that knowledge first and foremost before I do, right? So don't you agree, Kent, on that? I mean, RCMP are the ones that need to know the truth from people.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll play just a little bit more here, because there's something I do want you to hear, because it just struck me as strange.
Just leave that with you to decide. My dream, the notes that came out, and I know there are certain aspects I feel like I shouldn't share, right? But I think that at the bottom line here is that we need to keep searching for Jack and Lily, and that we need to keep having discussions, even if it feels like everything that I just said was remarkably inappropriate. We need attention to their little lives, which mattered so much. And I believe that if we can continue to collectively ask questions and to think outside of the box, that there will be a break in this case. Now, I know that June 2nd, there was a public vigil and that the mother didn't attend. I also want to say, I believe that's because she has a massive fear for her safety. So perhaps there's even more going on than what came through in my dream and what came through in the remote viewing. As far as it goes with July 16th, when the pink blanket and a rain boot outline were discovered, I think it's important that these items were found, but as you see, it's not leading to a significant breakthrough. I don't believe that those items have as much impact at this point than what's already been presented. Is it important? Yes. Was it planted there to throw people off the track? It's very possible. Does the RCMP know more than they have shared publicly? Absolutely. I think it's really important for us to understand that people respond to grief in different ways. And I do understand that the stepfather to Jack and Lily has provided all the information that the authorities have requested and asked it for. He has granted them the opportunity to seize his cell phone, go through it, look at bank statements. I don't see that this disappearance has anything to do with, let's say, human trafficking. I also don't believe that it is connected to any type of financial gain. I believe at the heart of this is something around relationship challenges, and only time can truly say, right? Because this is all speculation and using my intuition. I will share a couple of final last thoughts that two children had a lot of joy in their lives. There would be times that they would get sick, let's say a little bit more often than average children. I see intuitively before their disappearance that they were prone to getting sick quite easily. Their immune system was low. We do know that economic circumstances made their lives a little bit more challenging, but Lily keeps popping up and saying that there was so much magic around the house where they lived. They were always doing things that made them laugh and brought them joy.
I personally, like in my own opinion, believe it's definitely about a relationship issue. Is what happened to Jack and Lily, some sort of something that went on there myself. But what I thought was interesting was when she said, let me just go back to it for 1 second. I'll just go right back right here.
Before their disappearance, that they were prone to getting sick quite easily. Their immune system was low. We do know that economic circumstances made their lives a little bit more challenging, but Lily keeps popping up and saying that there was so much magic around the house where they lived.
Okay. So this is what I did kind of struck me, because I remembered this comment from Daniel was Daniel had made this comment. The house is just silent. There's no magic in the air. It's just silent. So when she did say that, it just did, like, I know I sent it to you. Daniel,
Yeah.
I sent it to you as well.
And you thought that I didn't understand what you were talking about, but I picked up on that line where she said it was magic. And I
You guys remember?
believe that because look at the pictures that everyone has sent, whether they come from Belinda. The children look happy. The teachers and others always seemed like the kids enjoyed school, and maybe it was because of the fact that that wasn't somewhat of a normalcy routine, say. And I'm not saying that everything was all glass-eyed and hunky-dory at home, but I do believe that they were happy most times rather than not, I would say, in my beliefs.
I think so, to be honest, as well. I just kind of found it very interesting the way that she said that Lily keeps popping up saying like that there was magic, and then all of a sudden I remember this comment here and I was like, it was a weird comment to make. I mean, Daniel's made a few weird comments, but it was kind of like, it was, it's just one of those things that I was just like, for going, there's no magic in the air. Like, who usually says that line?
That's one of those things that gives you the connection
right
between the two, right?
Right. And yeah, so I mean, interesting. Anyways, so let's see here. I'm gonna go for a few minutes. I'm gonna pull up something quickly. Stop screen, and share screen here. And let me just go to the article first of all. No, go to this one. Okay. Right here. Okay. So it says, not all dogs in Canada are trained to detect the scent of death. While some specialized teams, particularly with law enforcement and search and rescue organizations, utilize cadaver dogs, it's not a universal training program for all canines in Canada. Detector dog teams include those trained to find human remains, are typically part of the specific programs within organizations in like the Canada Border Agency, CBSA, according to Canada.ca and the RCMP. And it says, here's a more detailed explanation. Wait, am I showing you guys? Okay. Yeah, I am. Okay. Just want to make sure I was showing that. Let me go back. Shoot. Okay. And it says, specialized training. Cadaver dogs, also known as human remains detection dogs, undergo specific training to identify the scent of human decomposition. Organizations involved. These dogs are often part of law enforcement, search and rescue, and other specialized unit. For example, the CBSA train and certifies the detector dogs, including those used for finding human remains. Now, not universal, and not every dog in Canada is trained to detect the scent of death. It is a specialized skill set. The RCMP have trained dogs for drug detection, including some teams specifically trained. So, again, this part right here, right? These dogs are often part of law enforcement and search and rescue. And one second here. Stop screen. Just want to go over to here for a second as well. Okay, so what the dogs smell, the science and the mystery of cadaver dogs. Scientists still can't fully explain why some dogs are so effective at finding human remains. Okay, so it says dive teams spent 12 days searching the waters of Elliott Lake in Northern Ontario and didn't find a thing. When the cadaver dogs were called in, they needed just 15 minutes. 6 young people had been making their way home from from a night of drinking on the island when their overloaded canoe capsized. Everyone made it back to shore except for the 20-year-old named Vinnie Yeo. Now, one of the volunteers called in to help search for the body of Kim Cooper, a founding member of the Ottawa Valley Search and Dog Rescue Association, the owner of one of 3 cadaver dogs on the scene July that day, and this is 1999. I don't know how to say that word, Malino. I don't know dog names that well. Malinois, or named Piper, was perched at the front of a boat and slowly trolled the search for sniffing at the water below. 15 minutes later, the dog turned to Cooper and let out a series of loud barks. Piper was the second dog to indicate this spot. The divers searched the area and found Yeo's backpack. The next day, they found a case of beer that had been in the canoe. The day after that, they found his body. It was quite a deep find, Cooper said. Yet at the same time, the dogs were obviously positive that they had him. It says not only can these dogs detect the scent of human remains 30 meters underwater, some can also detect traces as small as a shard of a bone or a drop of a blood. They can also tell the difference between, say, a dead raccoon and a dead hiker. And yet scientists still aren't 100% sure how they do it. And the training community is still figuring out how to train them most effectively. Most think an odor is just made up of chemical, when in reality it's made up of dozens of hundreds of chemical. And said R. Prad Vass, a research scientist in the Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. Vass is a leading expert of the decomposition, odor analysis, and conducts his studies at the University of Tennessee's Body Farm. Anyways, we'll go down here. He still isn't completely sure why the dogs are able to track decomposition scent so effectively, but in a recent paper, he narrowed it down to a few organic compounds unique to humans that may offer explanations. Mapping the hundreds of unique odors of human decomposition in all its stages could help with cadaver dog training and may even allow technology to replace cadaver dogs one day. The problem is that only one is of sensitivity, Vass said. Canines, I'm pretty sure, are in the parts per trillion detection range, and instruments are only reliable down to the parts per billion. And then, of course, so we know that there was a canine, again, at the scene, as well as bloodhound, and some other dogs as well. Breed isn't only overly important. The dog just needs to be very energetic, very motivated to work for a reward. However, typical cadaver dog breeds are German Shepherds, Malinois, I'm not sure how to say that, and Labrador Retrievers, which I've owned. They're gorgeous, loyal dogs. Often 15 dogs have been qualified to work with the Ottawa Valley Research or Search and Rescue Dog Associations in the past 25 years. Kim Cooper has personally trained 5 of them. The most important part of the training is to expose the dogs as to as many human remains as possible. Cooper said that human bones can be offered off the internet from companies with names like Skulls Unlimited and the Bone Room. She occasionally gets access to surface, be it a piece of carpet or some dirt, for example, which a body was found. But the most common training aid is placenta, donated by a new mom, by new moms. I'm in the habit of congratulating family members, and in the second sentencing say, so what are you doing with your placenta? Said Cooper, who has had a few placentas in her freezer at home. She said a handler will train the dog with the same odor source for approximately 6 months so that the dog learns the subtle changes that's taking place during decomposition. It's crazy, eh? Takes a
Get
little...
a hold of Charmaine.
Wait, what?
Get a hold of Charmaine
Why?
to get her daughter's
Placenta, from placenta? Right on there.
We'll
Let's
train our own dog.
I was getting, yeah. Very, very interesting read. So let's see. It takes a little while to build up a solid stomach so you that you don't get too disgusted with what you're hauling around anymore. What's this one? The big problem. Mark of the Desert Research Institute in Reno, Nevada, is in a unique position of being both scientist and a cadaver dog trainer. Let's see. She conducted a study on the compounds in human decomposition compared to those of cows, pigs, and chickens. The smelling of decomposing pigs were the least similar to that of humans, which is a problem for cadaver dog trainers in the United Kingdom, where it's legal to possess, oh, really? Human remains. Anyways, let's see. I'm not going to read this whole article. It's almost over anyway. But anyways, but like I said, I know that, like I said, they did have the German Shepherd there, the canine, out there. But again, we don't. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I just honestly with Jack and Lily, I just don't know. I just don't know. There's so many things that Daniel and Malaya are not doing. And one is they're not telling the truth. So what is it to me that they're hiding of Jack and Lily? I don't know. I'm just trying to put all the pieces together like you guys,
Well, I think that's where that is very good wisdom, and I will leave you guys with those words from Sunny, and I
Yeah, I
know
gotta
she's
me too.
looking at doing another one tonight anyway, so.
Yeah. Thanks, Kent. And thanks for so again, that's a borrowed Ford truck that
Yeah.
they've let Kent use. So
Highland Ford gave us it for both parades, as well as the time between the two parades. They had the 4x4 sign on their property, facing the 104 Trans-Canada Highway. Tomorrow morning, we'll be trying to nail down a new location before we take the truck back. We have one possible that's in that same area. It's just up on the exit, so the people on the highway wouldn't see it, but everybody that pulls off to the big stop would. And then we'll continue going with the little signs and just keep spreading the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Okie dokie. So anyways,
Alrighty.
I'm going to be a few more minutes, but thanks, Kent. Thank
See
you
ya.
so much. Does Kent drive the truck? Yeah, right here. See? Right there.
Yeah, I drove it in the two parades. Yep.
Yep. Thank you again for all that you do, Kent. Appreciate it. Working your ass off for Jack and Lily. Thank you. Even doing interviews. Anyways, do you need me to boot you? Okay. I think he left. Kick from studio. Kick guest. I want to say this. So, like they said golden retrievers. Now, back when I was with my ex, Matthew, we had a golden retriever named Bear Bear. Bear, but I called him Bear Bear. And I'm telling you people, okay? So they were talking about German Shepherds, canines. They said that they're trained for search and rescue, for RCMP, right? So that's what they're telling you. So, okay, so they had a canine on site, right? Just like they had bloodhounds and Malneal were probably those different dogs. So they're basically telling you, yeah, we had a cadaver-scented dog on the site. Not that he was specific to only being a cadaver dog. I think that they said there's only 15 that in the 25 years or something like that. But I can say this. My dog Bear was a golden retriever. Beautiful dogs. They would let a robber in the house. Now, this happened all the time that I would put my clothes somewhere, in the laundry pile, and Bear. So I'd go have a shower. So actually, I took my clothes off right get into the shower. And then Bear, oh my goodness. Doesn't matter where I left my clothes. Bear knew exactly the clothes I was wearing. So this one day in particular, there was a bunch of laundry in the hallway. And so I purposely tucked it at the very bottom of the pile. And so when I got out of the shower, I'm like, Bear, where's my clothes? Well, my clothes were the ones that I wore that I specifically hid underneath that because I just wanted to see how good he was, because he would always take my underwear and my pants, my shirt, whatever, and I'd always find them. So I lived in White Court, like a tri-level home in a sense, meaning I on the top floor where the kitchen and the bedrooms were, I could look down into the living room, because it was, like I said, at more like a tri-level like that. So I would just peek my head over the big opening there. But anyways, so yeah, so I specifically tucked them underneath the very bottom of the pile, and sure as shit, Bear had them already down the stairs and on the couch and the stuff that he does. And I was just like, that dog, it just amazed me. And I wasn't even thinking about cadaver dogs and searches. Or sorry, I wasn't thinking about golden retrievers, but I think about my bear and just how no matter what I wore, that dog would find it. And now that I realize again that golden retrievers are used as well, it only makes sense to me, because always what Bear did with my clothes all the time. It was just uncanny to me just how brilliant, certain dogs are, for sure. Is that Charmaine in the house? Charmaine? Howdy. Hi, Charmaine. Are you back home yet? While we're doing this, guys, I'm just going to gift out 5 memberships. I'm going to get ready for the live right after this. Workday's coming tomorrow too soon. But anyways, I'm going to quickly just go to the channel and let's see here. This one is live. 1 second. Click. 1 second. Okay. And I'm going to, again, so if you're not a member, well, can't help you there. You can become a member if you want. The link is up in the description of the thing. But if not, and you already are, then I'll see you in just a little bit. But I'm going to drop 5 memberships first and foremost. Hi, Cher. So let me just find the channel. Make sure that that's muted. And membership gifting. Okay, so let's see who gets these. Okay, Jenny Phillips, Amy, Crazy City Chickens, Prickly Pear, and Debbie Becker. Okay, so Jenny, Amy, Crazy City Chickens, Prickly Pear, and Debbie Becker got memberships gifted by this channel. Thank you, YouTube. On there. Okay, yeah. If you want to remember, now you are. Just gonna hear that. Dessert, you guys, for ice cream, for cheesecake, a few things. Just walked in the door. Yep. On there. Well, welcome back home, Charmaine. Glad you made it home safe and sound on there. So yeah, again, membership lives, it's a bit more loosey-goosey on how those ones go. Again, they're for the people that have again, there's people that pay for memberships or get free ones gifted to them, and those are the people that can join that live. For that, it's not because we're hiding secrets. It's just because these people paid for memberships and they deserve special treats for themselves, because the people that don't pay for memberships or don't want to or can't or whatever, right? That's all fine. But yeah. So don't be disheartened or anything like that. It's just because, again, people that pay for memberships, they get certain perks, and they get the perks of not having slow mode. They get the perks of being able to use the emoticons, and they get the perks of being able to watch members' lives and all that stuff. So don't feel like you're getting jilted, because I'm not sure if that's Kayla, as if that's how I'm pronouncing it, but thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Again, the Rickroll goes off 5 times for each one on there and that. So again, as soon as I'm done this live in just a few minutes, then I'm going to get the other live ready. So I will say about a half an hour's time, give me total. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't fix that issue because that's between you and PayPal or you and your credit card or on there. So I'm not sure, I'm not sure what the issue is there, Blue Jay, when people say that they can't get a membership or whatever. Again, it's all done through like Google Pay and PayPal and credit card type of thing. Yeah. On there. And don't forget, you guys, for the people that are typically coming here, I won't be doing a live tomorrow till Thursday. I won't be doing one Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I won't be doing any lives that I'm aware of myself because my schedule is 12 to 8. So I'm not going to be getting in no lives until Friday, I guess, of next week. I might put out a video in between that time, but that's about it. But again, and then the same thing the week after that, same thing, right? I was only supposed to have 1 week of nights, but I was asked if I could work the other one. And I, of course, said yes. So just to let you guys know that, okay? So don't think I'm running from you guys. Just my work has to come first. Thanks, Sarah. Who got that one? Wendy got that one, Sarah. Wendy, yes. There you go, Wendy, yes. Wherever you are on there. But okay, so you guys, with that being said, thank you guys again for being here, Jack and Lily, and, answers for Jack and Lily. And again, right, I mean, sure, we can try to understand the case and the different aspects of what we're being told and but the most important thing here is just to keep the awareness of the case, not let it go into the abysmal, which happens a lot of time with cases and stuff like that. We are Canadian. Again, there's not cases like this that typically come along too often. Right, Jack and Lily, they're just precious. And whenever there's mystery and mystique to cases, you just want to, you can't help but side eye what's going on here. Absolutely not. Again, it's if people were telling the truth, then we wouldn't be seeing what we're seeing. Simple as that. Now, why the case hasn't been solved up until this point, well, your guess is as good as mine. We can speculate and that, but I do think 100% that RCMP, even if they had to backpedal a little bit, I think that they're doing their job and they're wanting to find the answers just as much as we are, of course, right? I mean, that's what they do. So, anything to us is just, again, going to be speculation, our thoughts up until the point that something does happen within this case. Anyways, thank you, Belinda. Love you so much. Thank you guys for being here. And let's see, truth and justice. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Sherry. So anyways, I'm going to get off this live, you guys. I'll see the members into the next live. And again, congratulations and thank you for the people that just gifted memberships and to the ones that got memberships from YouTube. Okay. It's YouTube gives the channel 10 memberships each month. I like to split them up, 5 on one live and 5 during another live and stuff like that. But anyways, so we will see you guys later. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great night. Jack and Lily, guys. Jack and Lily on there. Okay. Now, I think I'll play that little bit of the new song again from Russia McDonald. I think it was really sweet. That Kent, he was playing those songs from Russell McDonald, the Come Home Jack and Lily, and the Where Are You Jack and Lily. I think that's beautiful because those songs are very beautiful that she's written for Jack and Lily. And for Kent to be playing those as he's driving and stuff, right? People of Pictou County, you guys want answers. We want answers for Jack and Lily. So bless. I think we are Jack and Lily's voices. Absolutely are. Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate all the people that really do appreciate the content, and how and also how hard we work. Charmaine, Kent, myself, Look at you guys go. Yes, ma'am, became a YouTube member. Micmac gifted a membership. Thank you, Micmac. Who got that one? Yvette. Yvette got that one, Micmac, on there. All right. Good night, Belinda. Okay, guys. So, again, thank you guys so much for all you're doing for Jack and Lily as well. Those likes, they really matter to keep it out in the algorithm. That's what matters. Keeping other people seeing and talking about it. But again, thanks for all the support that people do give for the love of this channel, especially with this case. I know there's, I got followers from different cases and stuff like that. But then there's the people that just really, truly love coming to the channel all the time. And just, like I said, just trying to keep it real. Yes, ma'am. Well, again, I'll see everyone in the live that's a member soon enough. But other than that, I'm just going to play the little bit of that new song by Russell McDonald, which is called Where Are You, Jack and Lily? And video file. This one here.
In the woods where shadows lay, Jack and Lily went to play. On a rainy May afternoon, now we whisper hope soft too. Echoes of laughter fill the air, but where are they? We stand in prayer. Oh, Jack and Lily, where have you gone? We'll hold on tight through this endless dawn. In our hearts forever you'll stay. With every prayer we send your way. Hundreds